Tell me, has this ever happened to you? Yippee! Today, dear viewers, we will be going over how to build every meta dual DPS team in HSR. This is a continuation of my last scripted video, where I went over how to make every hyper carry team in HSR. If a character you like isn't here, they're probably in that video, so go check it out. Back to the topic at hand, we'll be focusing on how the characters function, what they need to succeed, and what their ideal team should look like. This is going to be another long video, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become a YouTube member down below, and maybe grab a snack or two. With that said, let's get into it. The first thing to explain here is, of course, what is a dual DPS team and how does it work? Dual DPS teams consist of two characters who both contribute similar amounts of damage, or whose main purpose is to contribute damage. For example, the newest dual DPS teams in the game are teams like Silverwolf's Elation team, or the new Fate teams with Rin and Gilgamesh. These teams all contain multiple DPS characters who work together to decimate enemies through constant powerful attacks. Dual DPS teams in early HSR went extinct after a while due to the prevalence of hypercarry characters, but eventually they returned for good around the release of the Herda. She is a character who relies on having a sub DPS on her team to contribute hits, so that way she can actually unleash her ultimate and put out massive damage. Since then, we have seen countless teams be made in the same way, giving more offensive capabilities across the board to all units. Now, if that is a perfect thing is a topic for a different day, but it has been happening, and it has been a big part of HSR team building. With that preamble out of the way, let's actually talk about our dual DPS teams for today. The pairings we'll talk about are Rin and Archer, Silverwolf level 999, Gilgamesh and Saber, Mono Remembrance, and Ashveil. Yes, Ashveil is a bit of a weird one, but we all know damn well Aventurine is going to be meant to run with the men team. Why even try to act like that isn't happening? Blade right now is also an impressively strong character, and definitely fits this mold despite being more of a natural support than DPS. It's a bit of a weird fit, but in my opinion, he definitely fits with the dual DPS archetype. Now, in honor of the Fate banner that I am comically late to, let's talk about Rin and Archer first. Archer is a hunt character and serves as a powerful single target damage dealer. His mechanic revolves around the use of his skill and its ability to be used multiple times in a row. Archer, whenever he uses his skill, will consume 2 skill points and fire off 1 arrow. After this initial arrow, you can consume 2 more skill points and fire again. This can result in Archer firing up to 5 shots, with the first 3 getting stronger until they eventually cap out with a massive damage boost. Archer is pretty heavily reliant upon Sparkle, as she's the only 5-star support who has a niche with skill points. He does have ways to regenerate for himself, like the follow-up attacks he can do after his ultimate, but for the most part, that's the gist of Archer. A powerful character relies upon skill points to do his best work. With that in mind, let's now look at his new best teammate, Rin Tosaka. Rin is an erudition character, the path that, does the exact opposite of what Hunt does. Rin consistently hits all enemies on the field, and her primary strength comes from skill points or their use. When skill points are used, Rin will accumulate gem energy. This gem energy reaching 15 can be used to enhance her skill to Second Magic Experiment, a powerful attack capable of devastating all enemies. This is the entire basis of Rin's kit, relying on the usage of skill points by either her or allies so that she can unleash her strongest attack consistently. While still having completely diverse playstyles, these two work together perfectly in combat, not only thanks to their similar mechanics, but also to the powerful joint attack that they share. This ability will trigger after Archer attacks and resets when Rin moves. It deals massive damage and regenerates skill points so that the team can stay on the offensive. Rin also grants herself and Archer very considerable buffs, which makes up for the lack of an extra support for Archer. It seems weird on paper, but in reality, this is a match made in heaven for Archer. Now, let's look at the ideal teammates for these two. Sparkle is of course a top option as always. She offers more SP, powerful buffs for one character, consistent action advances, and DDD usage for more actions overall. In your last slot, your best sustain option is more than likely DHPT thanks to his SP positivity, but also another support like Mordenak's Blade or Tribby is always going to be a top choice. Also, before long, Robin Summeretto will likely swoop in to keep that spot, so have that in mind. Your best Archer team will be him, Rin, Sparkle, and DHPT. Now, as a quick ending note, Rin does have the potential to be played as a main DPS. I wanted to talk about her with Archer first since that is her intended team, but that doesn't mean she lacks the firepower to be deadly on her own. Your ideal game plan follows the same formula as Archer, getting as much gem energy and as many skill points as you can, and then blowing the enemy away with Rin's enhanced skill. To get the most value out of Rin, you'll want Ceredra and Sparkle alongside her, with either a sustain like EffMTee or another strong support like Mordenak's Blade. Rin with any investment is honestly incredibly potent as your main DPS, so if you have these characters available, don't feel pigeonholed into only using her with Archer. She is just as capable in the right hands, and likely will be for many updates to come. Now, let's jump over to the other side to talk about the, not-so-friendly duo of Saber and Gilgamesh. Interestingly enough, both of these characters are quite similar. Both have powerful high-energy cost ultimates, both rely on the actions of teammates to accumulate energy faster, and both have unique ways to move faster built into their kit. While the core kits do work differently, this is a case where both Fate partner characters are very much inspired by the original, and it ends up being a lot cooler than I expected it to be. Now, let's actually explain these two fully. Starting with Saber, she is an ultimate damage DPS. Her ult is how she deals all of her damage, and it is incredibly powerful. It does, however, come at a massive energy cost. So how exactly can she get it more efficiently? Well, Saber has a unique mechanic where she can stack Core Resonance. Core Resonance is essentially additional energy and a damage bonus for Saber that goes up over time. When Saber is capable of getting her ult with her current energy and Core Resonance combined, she will automatically action advance and be able to regenerate all her missing energy, granting her her ultimate. Saber is incredibly reliant on ally ultimates to get Core Resonance stacks, so allies who can consistently ult or give their turns are essential for her damage capabilities. Gilgamesh fulfills a lot of this, as we're about to see, and while not a perfect partner for Saber, he's still way better than anything we have so far. Gilgamesh is another destruction DPS, and honestly calling him a sub DPS is disingenuous. He legitimately acts like a main DPS character that just happens to work on Saber's team, not so different from how Rin operates. Although, in my opinion, Rin is far better as a standalone character. Gil will start the battle only using his basic attack until allies act 10 times. After that, he will have his interest peaked and unlock his skill. This skill does not consume SP, and locks him from using his basic attack past that point. While his skill is powerful, Gil is just like Saber, with his ult being his real moneymaker. This is a massively powerful attack that costs a huge amount of energy. Just like Saber though, Gil has a workaround. When other allies use ultimate, Gilgamesh will regenerate 30% of the energy that ultimate consumed. This of course applies to Saber and regenerates him a pretty massive amount of energy, alongside whatever his other teammates give him. This still isn't where it ends though. Gil and Saber also have a joint attack just like Archer and Rin. After Gilgamesh and Saber attack a combined 8 times, they will launch a joint attack that does a few things. Besides massive damage, Saber regens energy and has her next ultimate strengthened substantially. These two are a bit clunky, yes, but the synergy is still very real. They both gain from ally ultimates, and Saber ulting will not only benefit Gilgamesh a lot, but he will then in turn get more attacks out and grant Saber more core resonance by getting his ultimate. These two are a very unique pair, but this is still a phenomenal and highly recommended pairing for Saber players. As for ideal teammates, yeah, that's a loaded question. Tribby is an excellent pickup thanks to her consistent and fast ults. RMC is a great choice for true damage and action advances. Welt is a good choice at higher Eidolon levels. And of course, Mordenak's Blade is a phenomenal choice thanks to him just being so broken. I would say only use RMC for sustainless runs, but outside of that, as long as you feel comfortable with your support, that's all that matters. Simply because he's the best in the game, I'm gonna say Blade is the best choice here by far. As for a sustain, your best choice is Huohuo, because energy go burr. That's it. Alright, moving on. The best team for Saber is going to be her, Gilgamesh, Mordenak's Blade, and Huohuo, or another support. Alright, so that was a lot of Fate, and I feel like I talked really fast through that. I feel like I really bombarded you all with information, I apologize. On the bright side, we're finally into the more standard HSR characters, so now we can of course start with one of the more recent dual DPS teams to come out, Silverwolf level 999 and Elation. I'm going to use the same audio clip for anyone who didn't watch the first video or skip the Eva section last time. The Elation Path signature mechanic is Aha Instance and Elation damage. As long as one character on the team is Elation, Aha will appear in the action order. These instants, when they come up, unleash powerful Elation skills that can do damage, debuff, and generate certified banger for your Elation characters. For each Elation character on your team, the speed of an Aha instant will increase as well, easily allowing it to go 2 times per cycle if you have 3 Elation teammates. Elation damage, on the other hand, is what Elation skills and even things like EffMTee and Sparksy's ultimates deal most of their damage with. It's a unique damage type similar to true damage, being calculated completely differently to anything else. With that talked about, now we move on to Wolfie's team. Silverwolf level 999, unlike EffMTee, is at her best when in the dual DPS setup rather than a hyper carry one. Her and Sparksy are tailored to be extremely good for each other, and as such, should be used together if possible. Starting with Wolfie, she is an enhanced form DPS. She relies on building up her unique ultimate gauge so that she can transform to do some real damage. When enhanced, she gains a very powerful enhanced basic attack, massive buffs, and a new Elation skill which can do absolutely insane damage to all enemies. It's also bounce, meaning it can be used to deal with waves of enemies or one singular boss. While her best teammate is definitely Allknowing in the same way that Castrus's best teammate is Hyacinth, you'll still be much better off having a Sparksy on the team than not. Sparksy is a skill point DPS who relies on constantly consuming SP to enhance her damage. When she uses her skill engagement farming, she can generate punchlines and additional skill points for herself or the team at large to use. She then unleashes a far more powerful basic attack, which can do absolutely ludicrous levels of damage. The reason these two work together well is because Silverwolf will be able to deal additional damage when SP is used. This comes in the form of a loot box, containing one of a few possible attacks. Sparksy consistently uses and regens SP, so that means Silverwolf will constantly be spawning these boxes during a fight. Overall, it is a match made in heaven, and I really cannot in good faith recommend anything besides the very specific Elation characters that this team needs. Your ideal team for Silverwolf level 999 will be her, Sparksy, Allknowing of course, and either Hoho or Sparkle depending on if you are trying to run sustainless. Every other character falls behind them significantly in Elation teams, with even EMC being quite a bit of a downgrade. While it is possible for you to succeed with this team while using something like EMC or even Asta, it will be a much greater struggle, and overall, nowhere near as fun to run. While we're on the topic of flagship teams, and considering I've already talked about them a little bit, why don't we move on to the flagship of version 3.x, Castrus and Mono Remembrance. Now based purely on the name, I think you can tell what the best team here is, but let's still go through everything as normal. Also, everything I say about Castrus can apply to Evernight as well, since I know many of you are Evernight main DPS fans. Just replace Cassie with RMC. Castrus is a remembrance damage dealer who relies on using her ultimate to get her work done. This ultimate summons out her Memo Sprite, Netherwing, who will consistently blow themselves up to destroy the enemies and then pop back up 1 minute later like it's their morning routine. Cassie gains charge through HP lost or healed, and is capable of summoning once you reach 100% charge. That's really all there is to Castrus, honestly. She's a very simple damage dealer, and the beauty of Mono Remembrance is that despite every character being made to fuel Castrus essentially, they are all capable of still doing substantial damage, with even Cyrene being used as a main DPS by players still. Each teammate is extremely important here for the best performance possible, but let's first start with Evernight, as she is the powerful dual DPS partner. Evernight is also a Remembrance AoE damage dealer, who works in a pretty different way. She summons her Memo Sprite Eevee while draining her health, and then has Eevee explode on a target to do her damage. Evernight's ultimate is a key part of her kit though, as using it will activate her Darkest Riddle state. With Darkest Riddle active, Eevee will become stronger, do more damage, and Evernight applies powerful debuffs to the enemies hit by the initial ultimate. These two are both extremely powerful and work together super well to take down enemies. This team overall, however, would be nothing if it weren't for Hyacinth. While Castrus is far more dependent on Hyacinth, Evernight still enjoys everything that she offers, especially her Light Cone since it can help with EV stack generation. Then of course, there's Cyrene, the best in slot for just about every Chrysosaur character in this game. She is, no shocker here, invaluable, and this is a top 3 team for her in the game at base investment. When it comes to Mono Rem, they are at their absolute strongest when together, and if you substitute any of them, you'll get much different results. So, yeah, this is the best team for Castrus, and there isn't much else to say. Teams without any of these characters can work, or if you have Eidolons, that definitely helps, but it is far worse, and that's a fact. Now, the final team to cover for today, it is going to be the Men team, consisting of currently Ashveil and Mordenx Blade, with Aventurine soon to join them. Now, I'll be honest here, I know I don't talk about leaks much, but come on, we all know he's going to work with the Men team. I won't go into much detail, but this is going to be the main DPS alongside Blade and Ashveil, and this team will soon be an absolutely dominant force in the meta. Focusing on what we actually have right now though, let's go to Ashveil and Blade. Blade is a weird case where technically he's not actually a DPS and is mainly on the team as a damaging support, or at least that's what he's supposed to be. Problem is, he and Ashveil synergize so incredibly well, and Blade is capable of so much damage that this is not even referred to as Ashveil Hypercarry really, and is instead called Ashblade. Not only a raw-ass name, but also an indication that Blade is a key part of the DPS duo on this team. Now, let's start with Ashveil. Ashveil is a lightning hunt DPS who is both a follow-up and ultimate damage dealer. He gains stacks of gluttony for using follow-up attacks and skills, which in turn makes his ultimate even stronger. Upon using his ultimate, he will do massive damage to one enemy, and then he will unleash a special variant of his follow-up attack that will go off up to 3 times in a row, and will switch target when the enemy being attacked has died. This allows him to be great as not only a single target damage dealer, but also an AoE one. Something that is pretty damn rare when it comes to hunt characters. Ashveil is a character who very much appreciates some sort of action advance since getting those gluttony stacks is so important for him. Keep that in mind when selecting your other teammate, as we now move on to Blade. Mordinac's Blade has appeared a fair few times over the course of these 2 videos, and rightfully so. He is an amazing character with unbelievable damage amp. Blade unlocks most of his true power when he first ults. Upon using his ultimate, Blade will enter the Infinite Fury state. He will be able to use enhanced skill in this state, which does a lot of damage, can do an extra skill when his allies attack 9 times, and has access to a new ultimate that is purely for damage dealing purposes. Yeah, this Blade has got it all, man. Being able to be run as a consistent action advancing support with Eagle set, or as a true sub DPS with his own personal set, either way, Mordinac's Blade is an absolute demon right now, and should be treated as such. With these 2 characters at the core of this team, you can't really go wrong with your final few options. Sparkle for Ashveil is a great choice, as it helps him since he still needs additional skills to get full gluttony stacks initially. Tribby is a good choice of course, since with DDD, she can advance the party while increasing the damage across the board. We also have Robin and Aventurine coming out, which are both going to be viable options for those interested. As of right now, however, your best team is going to be Ashveil, Blade, Tribby, and Hyacinth or Ho-Ho, whoever you have available. I failed to mention this entire time, but dual DPS with Ashveil and HSR is also a completely normal and valid strategy, as using Ashveil is the only way to really make her relevant nowadays. If using HSR, Blade on Windset is ideal since it will allow him to generate consistent additional attacks to grant HSR stacks of Flying Aureus. And that, dear viewer, wraps up our video for today. Took some time to get through all the teams over the course of both videos, but hey, we did it. This is a video idea I like to do every now and then as a way to help new players, and I really do hope it ended up being helpful for anyone out there who needed it. I had a lot of fun putting these together, and I look forward to making more fun and unique scripts in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. I've got plenty more good videos coming out soon, so I will see you guys then. Bye bye!